This tutorial speaks about the limitations of ratio analysis. You can calculate ratios that reveal to you certain things about the business. For example, if you're looking at profitability, you can calculate what's known as the net profit percentage. And let's say you calculate the net profit percentage and you find that it's 30%. You can use this in order to make certain decisions about the company. You could calculate another ratio, say a ratio that looks at how long it takes your debtors to pay you. We call that the debtors collection period. So it'll show you the number of days that it takes the average debtor to pay you. And this can be anything. Let's say, for argument's sake, it's 80 days. So ratio analysis has got a number of benefits. It is hugely popular and it is hugely beneficial. But that doesn't mean that it's without limitations. In the course of this tutorial, we'll have a look at what some of the limitations of ratio analysis are. The most common argument leveled against ratio analysis is that it relies on historical figures. It doesn't take into account any future prospects of the company. It doesn't take into account the impact of inflation. Ratio analysis works on the assumption that history will be repeated. And as we know, this is not necessarily the case. Secondly, ratio analysis, as we know, is used to make comparisons between different companies. So if your company received, say, a net profit of 30%, how does this compare to its competitors? How does this compare to the industry? Well, one of the drawbacks of ratio analysis is that different companies might be using different policies, and that therefore makes comparisons tough. Again, on the issue of comparisons, some companies have got diversified interest, so that also makes comparisons tough. So how do you compare a purely telecommunications company with another company that's in telecommunications, it's in construction, it's in retail? Another common argument leveled against ratio analysis is that it depends on accounting information, and accounting information, as we know, can be manipulated by the accountants. Lastly, ratio analysis is extremely subjective. Different people will look at different things, and different people will calculate different ratios. You can come up with a ratio for just about anything. Also, what do certain figures mean is subject to much debate. For example, a debtors collection period of 80 days can mean different things to different companies. For a grocery store, 80 days is extremely bad to wait for money for goods that you've sold to your customers. But for a company that, say, sells ships or sells airplanes, then an 80-day waiting period in order to receive your funds, your millions of rands, is extremely good. So therefore, ratio analysis is limited or has limitations because it is extremely subjective.